So the first three genres on our journey are Irezumi tattoos, or Japanese traditional tattoos, traditional tattoos, also known as American traditional, and neo-traditional tattoos, also known as Neotrad. So we first started seeing the imagery like koi fish and dragons and stuff like that in Edo-era Japan in the mid-1700s with the emergence of woodblock printing, and we started seeing that inspiring a lot of the tattoo trends at that time. Looking back through flash sheets that were turning up in Britain in the early 1700s, you could tell there were a handful of tattooists that were traveling, probably with the Navy, to Japan, learning to tattoo there, getting the designs and bringing them back over to Britain and tattooing at places like ports and brothels, following sailors around basically. And everything was handpoke up until like 1900. But around 1750, everything changed. A colonizer explorer ship led by Captain Cook visited Polynesia, and during this trip, a lot of his crew got tattooed by the incredible Polynesian tattoo artists there. When they came back to Britain, it was a huge sensation. These sailors came back just covered in the most mind-blowing tattoos, which we unfortunately have no pictures of, but reading tattoo history, we learned that the Polynesian tattoo was just supposed to be the most incredible tattooing ever. I mean, they had thousands of years tattooing being handed down and mastered. You know, modern tattooing is just a couple hundred years. Imagine if we had thousands of years of collected skill and knowledge. So this created a huge trend, took tattooing more to the mainstream mid-1700s in Britain, and that's when the birth of traditional tattoo happened. Looking at American traditional tattoos, how heavily inspired it is by Japanese tattoo with that Edo-era woodblock print stuff. You even still see to this day a lot of American traditional artists still doing Japanese designs like the dragons and the koi fish, and that's why it's so deeply integrated into the culture, because it was in fact appropriated by these white British people who were traveling over to Japan, getting inspired by and taking all these designs, bringing them back to the Britain and eventually to the US. That's how the traditional was born. And then it kind of evolved from there to fit the needs of their clientele, which was mostly sailors. So you see a lot of ships and anchors, and there was a lot of pinups and stuff like that, just things sailors wanted. Whatever really sold best, you know, flowers are timeless and little daggers and flowers. All this stuff was just for these tattoo artists to survive, basically, because they had a very limited clientele and it was so incredibly niche. So even with the big trend in the mid-1700s, these tattoo artists still had to wait around at ports, hawk their wares on the street with their flash sheets, follow these sailors around into brothels and bars to get work. You know, I really admire the hustle of these early tattooers. Next, we have Neotrad, which is an evolved form of American traditional. It can be traced back to the 1970s. So this is like the next step in evolution from traditional tattoo onto a more contemporary form that, in my opinion, is very Art Nouveau inspired. This is a really rough recap. A lot of this info I'm grabbing from this book, Tattoo by Hank Schiffmacher. It's an incredible book with lots of good vintage flash sheets that he personally found himself. And if you guys have anything to add to this conversation, please leave a comment below. This is very much a group project. And to continue this journey with me, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I really look forward to defining all these genres with you guys.